Welcome back. I'm Dan Schneier. That's Jacob Gibbs, and this is Beyond the Box Score, Fantasy Football Today's fantasy show that goes a little bit beyond the box score. We take a look at data. We take a look at film. You probably know that now if you're here because it's week 17. You've been rolling with us. It's the holiday season. Christmas is on its way. Hanukkah just wrapped up. The gifts are coming, baby. Winter is coming. It's snowing outside, Jacob. I just woke up a few hours ago to a covered car in snow. There's 2 to 4 inches. I have no interest in shoveling out. I'm probably just here all day. So what better thing to do than talk fantasy football with you, Jacob? There are people entering their fantasy championship this week. We got advice for them. We want to talk about players. We want to talk about the tape. And we want to talk about some fun stuff that's been going on in the NFL. Last night was fun. Phillip Rivers lit it up in the first half. So, yeah, man, how are you doing? And you're excited for this holiday season. What do you want for Christmas, Jacob?
Oh, gosh, I certainly don't want to watch the Kansas City Chiefs for Christmas, but that's apparently what I'll be doing. Happy Festivus, Dan. Happy Festivus. What a time. What a time. Week 17. Time to win the freaking only one fantasy championship that I'm in. I thought I was going to be in like 4, 5, 6, something like that. But I had some really, really strong teams. But that's all right. Here we are. We've got some fun stuff to talk about still. Like, you and I dug into some tape last night, and it's been a crazy year, fantasy especially. But I was just taking a moment to appreciate last night that we got, and I know Beyond the Box where people are probably like sick of us hitting them over the head with this, but like we got Liam Cohen and we got Ben Johnson, and they like truly did it. They saved these guys. It really feels like Trevor Lawrence and Caleb Williams are like on their redemption arc, and are really like the Trevor Lawrence game. I mean, both games, the Caleb throw at the end and a lot of the plays he was making the whole game. And it's felt like a progression for both these quarterbacks all year long, where they're starting to do the things that we were worried that they maybe couldn't do. Caleb, it was too early to say, but the tremendous turnaround with Caleb Williams in terms of like avoiding sacks this year is insane. Lawrence is just like getting more and more confident. I feel like processing and standing in the pocket and making the throws that needs to be made. You've got a lot more on him, so I'm excited to hear about that. But yeah, I'm trying to find some positives in what has been a frustrating last few days here for me with football.
Well, it's frustrating for a lot of teams. I mean, we discussed this on yesterday's Beyond the Box Score, and then I did some polling. I talked to a lot of people. I lost 3 games in my playoffs last week, Jacob, where I was the first seed. I had 1 points by over 200 in the regular season. I lost all 3 of those. I'm advancing I'm in 4 finals, so it's not a horrible year for me or anything. But it's just crazy that the 3 leagues where that happened. And then I looked around this landscape, and I'm sure in the comments you can let us know if this happened to you, because I think it happened to a lot of people. It was a very big upset week in the semifinals. Like a lot of these 1 seeds went down. They didn't have Chase Brown ripping off 3 touchdowns. The other team did. And it's just like those examples seem to proliferate throughout the fantasy playoffs. And it's led to a wacky thing, but it's kind of like the NFL. You're going to have these seasons where the wacky 6 seed breaks through or the wacky 7 seed breaks through. And it does make the game fun. It stinks for us, or the people, not just us in this scenario, but anyone listening who had that dominant team. But that's part of fantasy. It's also why I am a big, big, big supporter of, if you play for money, please don't be Adam Azer and don't be the commissioner that doesn't reward first in points. You have to reward the best team. You can't just let it all come down to this randomness in the playoffs, or you could be Adam Azer and you could screw me over in the Baked Burger League, which I'm now dead in. So yeah, I just need to get that out there. But let's talk football, baby, because it is cool to see these 2 coaches really have that impact. And we said they would, and now they are. And I can't wait to try to predict next year and which coaches those will be.
I think these 2 are pretty special. But yeah, let's start with the Jags. I'm really curious to hear what you thought of Jacksonville's offense, Liam Cohen, and what he's done with Trevor Lawrence to help him have this type of a game against Denver on the road. We've watched a lot of Jaguars film this year. And it kind of culminates in this big game. And then specifically, I'm curious if you have any thoughts on Parker Washington, if he's somebody that we can use, or if this was just kind of a 1-week thing.
So it's really cool. We went into this week, and obviously we talked a lot about the Jags offense last week and Trevor Lawrence. You kind of walked me off the ledge of Lawrence, like, keep him in your lineup, dude. Don't get scared off by Denver. And thankfully I did, because that league was one of the leagues I advanced to the finals in. That's the Lawrence Stroud League, the league I just totally went with like all my preseason convictions. James Cook, George Pickens, I got Lawrence, I got Stroud. It's seeming to work out now. And I was a little nervous going into the game with the matchup against Denver. Like, could they slow down what Liam Cohen and Lawrence has done over the last? Because a lot of people pointed to, look, Lawrence has played easy matchups. It started a little rough. Like, I have it charted in my notes. It didn't start the way we wanted to. It was 2 3 and outs for Jacksonville. But when they got going, what I noticed is what Liam Cohen's done so well with Trevor Lawrence over the last however many weeks it's been has been allow him to find these isolated matchups and allow him to put the ball in a position where the receivers can go up and make a play. On Parker Washington's touchdown, that was the case. He had him isolated on this backside one-on-one route, and it just put the ball up there, let him make a chance. Have the trust in your receiver. And the same thing on an early key, it was either second and long or third long conversion to Washington as well, where Washington runs the route, wins the route, and you could just see that the timing is off because Denver's pass rush gets there. It was a good blitz. But Lawrence has done such a good job lately, Jacob, of not only avoiding pressure in the pocket, but being able to roll to his opposite shoulder as a right-handed quarterback rolling left, and then finding a way to generate these big-time throws from a just velocity standpoint, arm talent standpoint, while rolling to his left, hit Washington on a route that was really just backyard ball. Washington broke off his route, came back to the football for Lawrence. It really started to spark the whole offense. I think what you see is a few things in this offense. One, trust with the quarterback and the receivers. Two, obviously good scheme from Liam Cohen. Three, good arm talent finally coming to, fruition with Trevor Lawrence, a player who I've always liked and we've written off, but always still had the frame, the athleticism, the arm talent. But then four, that diverse a range of weapons. It's not like we have all-star Pro Bowlers out there, but we got enough options in the passing game with Strange back in the lineup specifically, Jacob, where he can find these isolated routes. And that's why you see a player like Park Washington win, a player I always liked at Penn State. I always felt like when I watched his tape coming out, he didn't get the same hype as Dotson. He didn't get the same hype as Allen Robinson, some of these other Nittany Lions receivers that came out. But this dude won at the college level. He was a route winner. He was really good at what he did, which is the nuance of playing football. Coming back to the football, broken plays, hands catches. We saw all that from Parker Washington. I don't know if I can count on him for the fantasy championship, Jacob. I really don't, because I think it's such a diverse attack that anyone could score. But I know for a fact I'm counting on Lawrence, and I wouldn't mind having any of these types of receivers, whether it be BTJ if you have him still, or Parker Washington if you want to pick him up, in your lineup. Because what I know is this is an offense that generates yards. This is an offense that generates touchdowns, and that's going to continue moving forward next week.
I love Beyond the Box Score, man. I love that we we could be like, I freaking loved Parker Washington coming out. Like last week, I was like, I really like Jawar Jordan coming out. He's good.
I didn't see any Jordan coming out. I don't get my hands on every prospect, but like there are the Parker Washington types where I watch him. I'm like, this guy's good. Like,
me too.
Why does he have no hype? And it's like, oh, I get it. He's not tall. He doesn't run a great 40 time. He doesn't look explosive, but it's like, he does the things right that you need from a receiver.
Yeah. He had 4 forced missed tackles in this game for the fantasy points data is charting, which is a ton. 24% first read target rate tied Jacoby Myers for top on the team. So it's 24% to each of them, 19% to Brenton Strange, and only 10% to Brian Thomas Jr. So he's the primary slot guy, and he's running a lot of routes. Jacoby Myers has not been in the slot that much lately. So it was BTJ with 38 routes, 34 routes for Jacoby Myers, 28 for Parker Washington. So I do think I worked on some rankings last night. It's super early, but I did get my rankings updated for week 17 because we are not going to be able to do a show tomorrow for Christmas Eve. So we do have 2 shows today. The chat was like, we really get 2 Beyond the Box Scores today? That's right. 2 Beyond the Box Scores, and we've got a special treat for you.
Brought it early.
Yeah.
Beyond the Box Score week 17.
Got a special treat for you in the second one. We'll wait till we get there. But yeah, gonna get into some rankings, and I've got Parker Washington like as a low end, like wide receiver, like a mid-range wide receiver 3, like a flex play. I don't see him that differently than like Chris Godwin or something like that, or even like, I don't love this, but like Michael Wilson had like 3 targets. You know what I mean? Like there's probably more upside, I think, for big plays with Wilson. But if Marvin Harrison Jr. plays more, they're playing Cincinnati. He's been really good against receivers. So yeah, Parker Washington, I think, at the top of the list of players you'll be looking to pick up this week. He's available in 55% of CBS leagues. So if you're still playing for something, he's a name to know. And even if you're not, he's a name to know. He's a pretty cool player, and he's had some really good moments this year. All right. Anything else on Jacksonville? Run game, anything else that stood out to you from this game?
It definitely wasn't the best run game from them.
Yeah.
It's a tough matchup. I still have full faith in their run game moving forward, ETN specifically.
Yeah, that's what I feel like they've had. Like Chicago's run game has worked pretty much every
You can't
game,
stop it.
and I think it is like you pointed this out, just a clear difference in personnel
Yep.
with the offensive line play. Okay, yeah, let's talk about Chicago then. So obviously I think most people got eyes on this game. It was Saturday night against Green Bay, but it was really fun to get back and watch the All-22. To see the run game specifically, that's like my most fun when I watch this Chicago team. But also like just to see these freaking throws from Caleb from every angle, you know what I mean? Like he's
sick.
just like you mentioned, Lawrence making the throw, rolling out to the left across his body. He and Caleb both had throws this week where it's like that's a Justin Herbert throw right there. Like that's a really, really freaking good special throw that only a few guys have access to. And this is, why these guys were so highly sought after coming out of college is just ridiculous arm talent. I want to do at some point soon. People have asked a lot about what's the beyond the box score offseason plan. Give us probably at least a couple of weeks to sort that out.
Yeah.
Get through the holidays. But like one of the ideas that I thought of last night when I was watching Caleb is like, I'm curious where you would draft Caleb. Hypothetically, like a Madden franchise, I forget you don't
It'd
play
be
Madden
so
that much.
fun to do.
Like you're starting from scratch, just drafting teams for real life football. You know what I'm saying? Like which quarterbacks would you pick first? And so you take into consideration like age and upside and stuff like that with Caleb. Trevor Lawrence too. I'm really curious. Like, I think would he be a top 10 pick? Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, like among the QBs. Whereas like before this year, we would not have expected that at all. Would Caleb be like a top 5 pick among the QBs? The upside is just huge for these guys.
Seeing that Trevor Lawrence is still just 26 years old.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
He's lived a whole life in the NFL. People have called him amazing, and they called him the biggest bust and the worst player in the NFL. And now he's back to being good, and he's only 26.
Yeah. So yeah, on Caleb, it's all the things you see. Like the sack avoidance just continues to show up. He's pressured a ton in this game. I think he had one of the highest pressure rates of any quarterback and didn't take a single sack. The arm talent is clear as well.
I don't know if before you go through that, I want to hear about that. I don't know if you have the numbers on it steady, but can we speak a little bit to it? I can find it if not, because I think Scott Barrett was tweeting about it, our friend of the show. It's insane to speak a little bit to how insane it is, to how fast and how abrupt he turned around the sack avoid. Like he was one of the worst in the NFL last year at taking sacks, and now he's become one of the best in one snap of a finger with one coaching change.
Yeah, I mean he almost had the most sacks taken in NFL history, and his sack to pressure rate was really, really bad. It's like one of the best this year, and that's crazy. That's really unusual. We've seen like Josh Allen improve his over time, but a lot of the quarterbacks that have this like high sack to pressure rate don't really see much change in that. I'll do some historic digging on that to see if there's anything similar to what Caleb has done this year. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
I think he did. I was really happy to see him moving quicker through his reads in this one.
Okay.
That's something that like has, I think, caused them to get behind the sticks a little bit at times. Is like he will get where he's like taking negative plays or just like having to bail out and throw the ball away because he's getting stuck too much on that first read. And maybe that's easier to do. Maybe it's almost like beneficial for his progression to like have no Roma Dunze. You know what I'm saying? No Roma Dunze, no Luther Bird in this game. And so I noticed he was getting through his progressions from 1 to 2 to 3 a lot quicker. That's a good thing for the running backs. Like Monangai got more targets than usual in this one. Although I will say, like, as somebody who has vested interest in Colson Loveland, I was a little irritated to see him like not find him. He was getting open a lot, dude. He's so good. So yeah, it was a high route rate for Loveland. I'm gonna have him ranked pretty high again this week if the receivers are out. because he did see his role grow. And man, every time Caleb went to him, it's like, yes, right? Like, this
Yeah.
guy's a stud. Throw him the ball. Like,
Yep.
every time you throw the ball to him, good things happen. Yeah, I just felt really encouraged overall. Like, it was obviously not having Micah Parsons hurt Green Bay, but they still got a ton of pressure. I thought it was a really well called and designed defensive game. Of course, Hathaway, the defensive coordinator, is like near the top of the list in terms of head coaching candidates, is what I'm hearing for 2026. He's done a phenomenal job, and that was definitely the case here against Ben Johnson. But I just felt like Chicago played well enough that they were able to counter a lot of it and put together pretty good drives. And it says so much, I think, about this offense. And I feel, even though it wasn't a great game for Swift or Monagai necessarily for fantasy, I feel pretty good. And Loveland, I feel pretty good starting all of them. DJ Moore, you got to start. What was his first read target rate? It felt really high.
We get our first, I feel like it's been like months for this, but our first decent weather game for the Bears, which could be really nice in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's true. It ended up being windy. It wasn't super, super cold, but it ended up being pretty windy in this game, and that did affect some things. But yeah, this matchup against San Francisco is really exciting for Week 17. 33% first read target rate for DJ Moore, 25% for Colston Loveland. There just weren't really that many first read throws in the game, but that could change this week. San Francisco is a pretty soft matchup, and yeah, it could be a good weather game. I'm feeling really good about all these Bears.
I'm excited about it. I think there's still another step to take in this progression of the Bears offense, to get to the level that I want them to get to from a fantasy standpoint. I like where they're at for their chances of winning. Honestly, I think they're a surprise team that can make a run. I just put a couple nice futures 2 weeks ago on Bears and Chargers. Those are kind of my sleeper teams. The Niners I like as well as a potential sleeper team. As it works now, but for fantasy, I still think there's that next step to get to in the passing game. I watched this passing game. I watched the Jags passing game. I think the Jags are a little further along with what they're doing, conceptually speaking. Still think there's a lot more meat on the bone, specifically with Loveland, who, like you mentioned, as I watch the Bears tape, there are still similar examples. Every week I watch them, there are examples of reads I wish Caleb would make that maybe he's just not getting to yet. It's going to happen, though. We know it's coming, right? We saw Goff and his evolution with Ben Johnson. He became the best of Goff got to the best of his ability in his final games with Ben Johnson before Ben Johnson left. The same progression is going to happen with Caleb Williams. That's just how it goes. It's good coaching. That's why we see these quarterbacks thrive with McVay and Andy Reid and all the best coaches. I would put Ben Johnson up there when it comes to schematics. Maybe even Liam Cohen, honestly. That's the interesting part. Is he in that range too? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited about it moving forward. I don't know if it's there for I don't think Week 17, we may see a breakout 350-yard game from Caleb, but it's certainly possible.
Yeah, I doubt it without his receivers. I was having a tough time ranking him yesterday. The Bears' implied total is good, not great. I feel really good about the running backs, and I wouldn't shy away from them unless I had options that I felt really good about. And I feel good about Loveland. Same type thing where it's I wouldn't shy away from him unless I had options I felt really good about. And DJ Moore is he's always a little scary, but I think there's really high upside with DJ Moore, and so he's somebody I'm probably getting in almost any lineup where I've got DJ Moore. And yeah, to your point, we're so early. We're still so early with the Chicago team. It's insane what the outcome that we've got. Because I really expected this to be a 2-3 year process. That's what it was in Ben Johnson's tenure in Detroit. It took time for it to all gel into league leading stuff. But here in year one, it's just been freaking awesome. Question from the chat, and then we'll get to our first break. Would you consider Loveland a bust?
No.
You know my answer.
Well, he was free in drafts. He wasn't drafted in the top 12 tight ends.
He wasn't free in the real draft, though. And he hasn't had a profound impact necessarily.
I thought he meant fantasy bust.
Who knows? I think it's pretty clear. This is a great beyond the box score example. If you watch this guy, he look. I mean, there's a reason. If you watch Bears games, that the announcers are talking about him. You know what I mean? There's so much to talk about. And they're watch out for this rookie tight end. He's really special. He can impact the game in the run game and the pass game. Ben Johnson loves it. Ben Johnson talks to us every chance he can about how much he loves this guy. He's freaking awesome. I think he has a really, really exciting future. The list of tight ends I'd rather have for real life or dynasty purposes, then Loveland is not long. It's like, I don't know, 1 to 3 players. He's so freaking good.
Real life's interesting because then I have to get into like the nitty gritty of the film and the blocking because I'm a big like inline. I love the tight ends who are two-way guys. Like the Kittle. I've always made the argument with a friend that gets destroyed, and I'm scared to even mention it to you in front of your face.
No.
But I have made the argument that it's possible. I'm not saying it is the case because I don't want to get blown up by the chat right now, and I know I'm going to. It's possible you can make the case that Kittle is more valuable than Travis Kelce, but the prime.
Yeah,
but it's a tough case to make. It's the one I like to make. It's my kind of player, Kittle. It's a two-way guy. He's essentially a sixth offensive lineman with how good of a blocker he is, and he's a good receiver. I personally like Rob Gronkowski. I'll take him over Travis Kelce 1,000 out of 1,000 times over Tony Gonzalez. Rob Gronkowski is another example. Like you listen to Bill Belichick talk about him, and I think Loveland can actually be that player too for them because he has the frame to block. I just think he's still got a little ways to go there.
And for fantasy, I don't know. I get if you like were reaching for him like I was, where I was taking Loveland sometimes around 8 or 9.
Yeah,
maybe that was a bad pick. But I think a lot of, if you look at round 8 and 9,
what are we getting in round 8 and 9?
Most of those picks did nothing. And also, if you just look at the tight end position, like who was good all year long?
I know.
Trey McBride, Harold Fannin.
That's basically it.
I mean, Tyler Warren a bust? He was taken ahead of him and did nothing outside of the first like 2 months. Those 2 months are important, and that's kind of where I'm at with Loveland is like you've been able to start him at times. So I don't know. I wouldn't really call him a bust for fantasy even, and definitely not for real life. Let's hit our break.
What's he like? The happy-faced killer?
You mean my dad? Be glad you never have to know.
You think that you're so much better than me. You're just like your old man.
I am not like you at all.
Alrighty. We talked about Trevor Lawrence, still just 26 years old. Let's talk about Tyler Shough, who is 9 days older than Trevor Lawrence, probably the last quarterback or the last player drafted in the NFL that was born before 2000. You are feeling really encouraged with Shough, is my basic impression from looking at your Twitter. I love it. As somebody who has a lot of Chris Olave on my dynasty squads, what'd you see in week 16?
So the good news is the Saints picked up Chris Olave's fifth-year option, so he'll be back next year, which I think is really, really good for your dynasty teams because I think he's developing a rapport with Tyler Shough that looks freaking awesome, man. And I don't want to go – let me just say this. Let me start this Shough evaluation by saying this. One, I want to be cognizant of the fact that this is the first game of Tyler Shough on all 22 I've watched all year and is against the Jets defense. He won't play the Jets defense every week, obviously. And if he did, he'd be a totally different player. So I'm going to speak a lot of excitement about Tyler Shough in these next few minutes. And I just want to qualify it's based on one game of film against the Jets. 2, with that said, Jacob, I did really like his Louisville tape. And he was a player that I tweeted about early. I went back and looked at my old tweets last night, Jacob, and my tweets from February. I was like, I got a hot take. Tyler Shough might be the best pure passer in this draft class. Because when I watched the tape and everyone's like, go watch Giants have the 3rd pick. Go watch Shedeur Sanders. I was like, Shedeur Sanders tape sucked, I thought, at Colorado. I was like, this is not an NFL prospect. He doesn't have an NFL arm. And then I watched him back-to-back with Shough, and I was like, here's my hot take. Shough is a clearly better passer of the football than Shedeur Sanders, specifically for what matters at the NFL level. And a lot of that, Jacob, was quantified by watching the tape of Tyler Shough this week. I mean, one thing I love about him, I'll start with this, and I have this in my notes 4 or 5 times. The first play of the game, I see Tyler Shough making a pre-snap jack. I just love the fact that him and Kellen Moore are this is only his 7th NFL start, Tyler Shough, because they went to Rattler for the beginning of the year. But I just love that Kellen Moore gives him the pre-snap authority already to make checks and kills at the line of scrimmage. And then off of it, he takes a deep shot on a post to Olave. Throws with excellent anticipation. He holds the middle of the field close safety with his eyes. I just didn't execute that pass from a ball placement standpoint. But throughout the game, I thought he did a great job of, one, having the authority pre-snap to make checks and kills and get them into the right spots. There was a wheel route he hit on their 2-minute drill toward the end of the first half to Juwan Johnson. That was a perfectly dimed up wheel route, but he threw with anticipation, anticipation, excellent ball placement and velocity, dimed it up to Juwan Johnson along the right hash on the right sideline. And that was a check kill. He made the line of scrimmage. You could see it before the snap. He makes the kill to that side, which is Juwan Johnson and one other receiver. And he gets them into that post wheel pattern. And it's perfect. It hits Juwan Johnson for the wheel, gives him a chance to potentially get a field goal before half. I thought throughout the game, he threw with excellent anticipation, ball placement, and velocity, especially the outbreakers. That's where him and Olave really ate it up. There were 2 field side throws by Tyler Shough in this game on outbreaking routes and intermediate range. These are probably 14, 15-yard out patterns by Chris Olave. And on both of them, he just threw the ball with so much velocity and anticipation. When you throw from the field side, what I mean by that is if you think of the NFL field, there's 2 hash marks. And just think of it like the line of scrimmage is in between the 2 hash marks, but sometimes the ball is lined up closer to 1 hash mark. Throwing from the far hash, these field side throws, is you're essentially throwing a field and a half across. So it's like, look, think about the throws where the quarterback is throwing from almost one side of the field, but that hash to the other side. That throw is a long, long throw. Shough made it twice, and he made it with great ball placement anticipation to Olave. Their rapport's amazing. I mean, Olave is a special player. Like, he ran a whip route in this game when they needed it on 3rd down. That was just special to watch him get in and out of his breaks. And same thing on those out routes. I tweeted about it, Jacob. I said that pattern that they run, like that far field side throw, far hash out route that he completed to Olave twice in this game, it's an unguardable route. Like, if you're going to throw it with the level of anticipation and velocity and ball placement that Shough threw it with, it's literally unguardable. It's just a rapport-based thing. It's like the Rodgers, Devontae Adams stuff that we used to see back in Green Bay. So I thought his footwork in the pocket looked good. Now, I want to be clear. It's mostly quick game. That's mostly what they're running here with Shough, and it's great job by Kellen Moore. And he still has the tendencies that had me drop him a little bit in the draft. Like, when pressure does come at Shough, Jacob, he does a poor job of kind of falling away from the pressure, moving his body weight backwards, and that's when you start to see the off-target throws. He has a lot more off-target throws than watching a lot of the rookies, like a Jackson Dart, or I don't want to say Sanders. I haven't watched this tape, but there are more off-target throws than you'd like when the footwork breaks down in the pocket and when the pressure is there. But there's also a lot of good, man. There's a lot of good. The ball barely hit the ground in this game. I wrote that, man. Like, with the exception of a few times where the receivers dropped it off their hands or off their chest, the ball really barely hit the ground. There was a cool play, 3:49, quarter 3, that I wrote down, where he just went through the full field progression from left to right and gets to Estime in the flat as the check down, and Estime then turns it up for 12 yards. There were a couple plays that could have been huge. There was a Olave target in the end zone, Jacob. I don't know if you remember this one, but he changed the trajectory on the throws, like a 16-yarder, and put a nice touch over the top. It dropped right in, but Olave just couldn't keep it. So overall, man, super excited about Tyler Shough from what I've seen, and excited about the rapport with Olave. And Olave's obviously just sick on tape. He's so good.
Yes, he is. I'm glad that everybody has come around. Like, finally, it's funny this year. It's like Olave, Trey McBride, they can score touchdowns, and look how good they are. Like, if they could just score touchdowns, they're insane for fantasy. And yeah, the Shough stuff is interesting. Like, his charted accuracy data hasn't been that great. He does have a really high off target rate, like you mentioned. But I know he's doing a lot in terms of throws that he's making that we often don't see from young quarterbacks. And so I've kind of like kept the light on for him. Like, I'm curious what this could turn into. It's not quite at the level of Cam Ward, where he makes throws that just like shock me. But it's sort of like that. Like, he makes some throws that show up. I mean, I feel like basically every week I see some sort of Tyler Shough propaganda on Twitter. I haven't gotten in and watched a lot of New Orleans Saints week to week, but I'm excited to dig into more Shough this offseason for sure.
The best throw, by the way, for those who want to look at it, the 2 best I have in my notes is, if you have NFL Next Gen, quarter 2, 11:51. It was just an intermediate outbreaker that he just ripped. And then quarter 2, 7:17 left. He threw a skinny dig route over the middle hook defender in stride with this receiver, Austin, who I'm not even positive who he is on the Saints, to be quite honest, one of their backup receivers. It was an in stride, skinny, over the middle hook defender, in between the safety, just as Austin's making his break, and it just hits him right in his stride, like a perfect laser ball. I just think watching this dude, when he has the footwork in the pocket, specifically with the quick game, and he gets it set, he just throws a really, really pretty football. The ball jumps out of his hand. Like you could see, like this is what you want. When people say go through the draft, Jacob, and we'll do this offseason. We're going to talk about a lot of quarterbacks. And I'll tell you this, and I'm like, I don't love, and you'll hear this from me, and I'm like, I don't love him because he just doesn't have a great frame and the ball just doesn't really jump out of his hand. That's why people want Tyler Shough type prospects, these 6'5" guys, because they have bigger hands and they're bigger frame. They could see over the line. They could just rip the football and beat spots. Like that's what he was doing all game. He was just using his velocity and his ball placement and his arm talent to just beat the defender to spots.
All right, let's talk about some more velocity, arm talent, placement.
Oh, by the way, yes, he is older than Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, nine days older,
which is awesome.
Laser throws, man. The Week 16 Justin Herbert film was so freaking fun. Dan's talked about this. Like, I feel like anytime you get a chance to get eyes on Herbert, and we obviously talked about Herbert for years now, but you've come on a few times and been like, this is one of the best quarterbacks, sir. You know, like he is absolutely playing at the highest level. And that's no surprise, right? Like we know he's capable of it. I guess it is a little surprise given the state of the line. Like I was worried that this might completely implode in LA, but Dallas's defense helps for sure.
Yeah.
But also like they've been able to make it work for the most part, getting it out quick when needed. Doing a good job, I think, diagnosing like where the pressure might be coming from and everything. And his pass catches are awesome, man. Trey Harris, the rookie, like I obviously beyond the box score favorite and everything, but like he's going to be a stud. I really am.
If there's one takeaway from this show, buy Trey Harris and Dynasty. I just traded for him this past week in Dynasty. I'm super excited about that. What do you think of this trade? I traded DeAndre Swift and DJ. So my league one of the leagues I'm in allows trading through the playoffs. So a lot of our just teams in the playoffs just try to like pick the teams out of the playoffs and just get win now players. So I gave him DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift for Matthew Golden and Trey Harris.
I'm nervous as hell about Matthew Golden.
Everyone's so nervous about Golden except for me because I just think he looks awesome. It's not his fault.
He does look awesome. I don't know when it'll amount to anything, but yeah, sure. It's like, talented player with Jordan Love. I can get behind that.
I mostly just wanted Trey Harris on my team.
Yeah. It was DeAndre Swift and who is the other vet?
DeAndre Swift and DJ Moore. So you can win now.
Yeah, I'm in on that. I think like maybe you could have gotten more. But I'm in on that. That's a decent buy low.
I'm higher on Golden though, I think, than consensus. And I understand they're really down. I see all the stats like every rookie receiver who's ever had this amount of targets and has never amounted to anything. Like, okay, I get that, but it's a very unique situation this year in Green Bay. Maybe it will continue to be for Golden. I just don't understand why they drafted him in the first round if they don't plan to feature him at some point.
Yeah. But yeah, Trey Harris is awesome. He had a few balls go through his hands. But everything in terms of winning routes and then what he does with the ball was really, really cool. So as long as he's not, Dontavian Wicks out here, he's a freaking really explosive player. And Justin Herbert continues to go to him more and more. He ran the same number of routes as Keenan Allen. So I just wanted to highlight him because I've brought up that he's like only kind of coming on the field to block, at times. Like that's how they've used him earlier in the year. And it's like when they had these big jumbo sets out there, he was the one receiver on the field for blocking purposes. Maybe they'd run play action. Lately, they're using him more and more and more as like a real part of the offense. So they basically have like a 4 receiver rotation right now with him, Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey, and Keenan Allen. I want to highlight Quentin Johnston too. QJ just keeps getting better.
He does.
Like it's happened year over year. Where it's like tangible improvement. And you definitely felt it in this game. Like he made 2 fantastic catches on deep sideline balls. And Herbert, there were like 5 or 6 throws in this game that were just mind blowing from Herbert. The last note I had was I really think Chris Rodriguez is going to have a good game against Dallas. Wow. Dallas's defense was really, really easy to move because we talked about the Chargers line has not played well this year. But like they were able to move Dallas's defense and find lanes for Amari and Hampton, and he got through there pretty easily. And Chris Rodriguez is definitely somebody who can get vertical, and will do so with conviction. And I think he'll probably have a pretty good game as a fill-in flex. So there's another waiver wire guy for you. All right, let's take our second break. We'll get back and get to the waiver wire.
only CBS Sports can bring you big time during the heart of Saturday afternoons. It's big time.
It's big time. It's big time. It's big time.
On CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
Alrighty. Thank you, Dan, for letting me get to the Justin Herbert film. It's just so fun. Like there's few quarterbacks that are more fun to watch. I saw my notes here. Another thing on Trey Harris. I'm obsessed with him. He's like, I was really impressed with how he found holes in zones and sat down in those holes and like kept like occupying space versus zone. Because like what I loved about Trey Harris was he was freaking unstoppable as a prospect, like on film against press man coverage. And so it's like if he can do like some of this stuff, if the horizontally breaking routes and stuff they've been building in for him are areas he can win too, then he can maybe be like a win all the time kind of receiver. He's
I think it's hardly possible based on what I saw from his college tape.
He's really exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I brought up C-Rod. He gets the Cowboys this week. You could go with Bill too, but it was way more Rodriguez in this past game, which is what we've seen over the past couple of months when they're both healthy. He's available in 37% of CBS leagues, so probably not available in your league. But maybe in shallow leagues, maybe you get him, maybe you get Ramondre Stevenson or whatever. But let's talk about some more realistic options. So Emmanuel Wilson is available in 40% of leagues. Isaiah Pacheco, Michael Carter available in 40% of leagues. Pacheco got a lot more involvement in this past game, which is something we've kind of seen happening under the surface where they're starting him. They're wanting to go to him more and more. And I think Kareem Hunt his watch is ended here. There's no reason to go to him really. So probably a lot of checkdowns. We saw 5 targets from the backup QB go to Pacheco. He ended the game with 7. I preface all that because I think Wilson, if Josh Jacobs doesn't play, and Carter, like those two are clearly probably above Pacheco in people's minds.
Okay.
Especially like with a matchup against Denver here for the Chiefs. How would you rank those 3 for week 17?
Well, I mean, I feel like Wilson, actually, honestly, Wilson, regardless,
okay,
would probably rank higher than
even if it's like same thing we just had where
Yeah.
Jacobs is playing, but like probably on a
like a fake
count or
playing.
something.
Right, playing only on important downs, which is probably what it will be regardless. So yeah, I think I'd still go Wilson. I just have I get Pacheco from the sense of like somebody has to do some offense on the Chiefs, but like it's a horrific matchup and it's cold and they might have Aladukin playing quarterback. Who's going to play quarterback? Like, will they get 150 yards of offense? Are there going to be any touchdowns? I don't think there's any scenario I would play Pacheco this week, personally.
All right. I've got Pacheco at running back 34. So I do have Michael Carter above him substantially, even though I'm a little nervous that Carter might continue to lose some work. I thought Corey Kiner played well, rookie UDFA. And they also used Amari DeMarcado a little bit. So we'll see on the Michael Carter usage, but the role or the matchup is certainly good. Another waiver wire running back who I have ahead who's going to be available in pretty much every league, and this is dependent on Aaron Jones missing this game, is Xavier Scott for the Vikings against a Detroit defense that just completely fell apart against Pittsburgh last week. I mean, Jaylen Warren, you might have noticed, suddenly looked like Jahmyr Gibbs in week 16. So I feel like Xavier Scott is somebody to definitely seek out and see. It's like unless you have only one spot and you have to go get somebody who you think can get in there and start, like Carter or whatever. If you have any type of like flexibility to like just take a speculative ad, I think Scott's going to be near the top of the list because I think if he gets in there against Detroit and Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason are both out, he could have a good game. But at the same time, who knows what to expect from Minnesota's offense in this game? It's on Thursday.
The problem is, if we get hit with another Brosmer, which I think we might.
Yeah, I believe it's Brosmer. And yeah, it was awful last time.
It is Brosmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brosmer looked a little better this week. I will say that. He hit a nice out to Jefferson. But I don't know if I want anyone in that lineup if Brosmer's playing.
Okay. So a couple other guys who were picked up a little bit last week, but are still available in a lot of leagues are Jawar Jordan, Audric Estime. Jordan gets the Chargers, which I think on paper is a good matchup for running backs. I don't really love testing that defense. They're one of the few defenses really playing for something at this point here in a matchup against the Texans. But Jordan, man, the week prior, week 15, he showed explosive play ability. And week 16, he showed an ability to handle like 20 plus touches, which surprised me, but they really loaded him up.
Right.
It wasn't as good of an outcome, but he's interesting. Estime, it was weird. Like Adam pointed out, the narrative thing here with Taysom Hill made it for kind of a weird game. I don't know what to expect this next week. They went really pass heavy.
So pass heavy in that game. It was cool.
Yeah. So they get the Titans this week. The Titans are a lot easier to attack through the air than on the ground. So I don't feel great about Estime, but I wanted to ask you because I know that you really liked his film.
It's not that I really liked this film. I read this film a lot coming out of Notre Dame. I saw him. He looked actually pretty good in this game. Like the one play I talked about where Shough went fully through his progression from left to right, came back to the check. He made a really good move, great 12 yards. I think he's good in space. I just don't like the role at all, having watched this game now. It's one, super pass heavy, like you said. Two, there's too much Taysom Hill involvement. And even Hull is getting some annoying touches. Like, it's not what I hoped it would be, like a lean on Estime type of offense. It's just very pass heavy with an involvement of Taysom Hill. So, yeah, I don't feel good about it.
Okay. So clearly the lowest, I think, of the people that we've talked about so far.
Besides Pacheco, yeah.
You'd rather pick up Estime than Pacheco?
Yeah, I'm just out on Pacheco.
Okay.
I'd probably have him over Scott, too.
Okay. Another player I wanted to bring up is Devin Singletary. Maybe not, super exciting, and maybe this is just a bad play. I don't know, but we just saw them come out and just like run as much as possible, and maybe that was just a Minnesota thing, like just because of the defense they were facing, they did that.
I think so.
But they get a defense that's been very easy to run on at the end of the year here in the Las Vegas Raiders. Although they did play pretty tough against Jawar Jordan this past week. Do you think there's any merit to potentially going to Singletary as the 1B in this backfield rotation?
No.
I feel like you could get lucky with a touchdown. I think they could score a few points, and you could get 10 to 15 touches.
Look, I'd be happier to play him than Xavier Scott or Pacheco.
If Scott's like the primary running back, you're this low on him?
I don't know if he's going to be the primary running back. I don't think he will be. You think it's definite that Jones is out?
Obviously, I don't know that, but that's what I'm saying, like hypothetically.
Okay, if both are out, and it's Brosmer, which I think it will be. Yeah, I guess you got to play Scott based on volume there.
And I think he could get a decent number of targets too, Xavier Scott for Minnesota.
Yeah. It's just so unlikely they're going to score. That's why I don't like these plays like the Pachecos and the Scotts of the world when they have these quarterbacks in.
Well, let me give you a similar play. See if you like this one. It's Dylan Sampson if he is able to get on the field for the Cleveland Browns. No Quinshon Judkins. I did get Emma to find a photo of Raheem Rocket Sanders for me to put on the thumbnail today. Thank you. Shout out.
Love it.
Producer. Not easy to do, probably. He's been on a handful of teams already during his rookie season. I love Rocket Sanders. I hope we get Rocket Sanders featured. I even tweeted out a cut up of Rocket Sanders touches from week 16 today. But they're saying that Dylan Sampson is progressing well. I think it's a hand injury.
Yeah.
And if he's able to get in, I would expect him to handle the lead back role. It would probably be some kind of mix. But we're talking about a guy they drafted around 4, and I think a lot of people thought could have gone even earlier, Dylan Sampson. Loaded running back class, obviously, so a lot of these players got pushed down, but definitely a really talented player. But it's kind of the same outline that you've laid out, where it's like quarterback concerns, don't know if they'll score at all. The over-under in this Cleveland-Pittsburgh game is 34.5, which is the lowest that I can remember from this year. So probably a really gross game.
Don't love that.
Yeah, would you prefer Sampson to Scott or anybody else we've talked about today if he's in?
Yeah, I think they're basically the same play, except Sampson's more explosive and has actually done stuff. And we know that like a lot of the offense for Sanders is screen passes, so it always has been at Colorado too. So that's a good sign for Sampson. So yeah, I have some intrigue with Sampson.
Okay, so you Sampson over Scott. If Sampson, even if we think he might be splitting with Rocket Sanders.
I don't think he will be. I think if he's back, Sampson will take the majority.
I think Rocket Sanders would get the short yardage work at least.
That's possible, though. Yeah, and he's good.
I think I would say Sampson would probably be in a role similar to Michael Carter in terms of usage.
Yeah,
in a worse offense.
In a worse offense, but a more talented player. Yeah, I think you got probably Carter, Scott, Sampson, I guess, on that. I don't know.
Somebody's in the chat saying that Kenneth Gainwell got dropped in their league. They're talking about Kenneth Gainwell. They say Kenneth Gainwell
crazy.
League winner this week. I've got Gainwell inside my top 20 again this week. The Browns have been easier to run on as the year has gone on. We're going to talk about start sit in our second Beyond the Box Score episode today. That is at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Is that correct, Dan?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Another one you could go to. Malik Davis, Dallas Cowboys. Continues to get some work, and they're facing the Washington Commanders. Don't exactly know where Javonte Williams is at with his health. If it were to be like a flare-up type of thing where Javonte has to sit out, you could see Malik Davis step into a larger role. So I think he's interesting. The Cowboys are obviously expected to score a lot of points from Vegas this week. Great matchup. Any interest in that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the situation is.
How about him or Singletary?
Assuming Williams plays or no?
Yeah, assuming we go in with Singletary. Let's say Josh Jacobs plays. We don't know how much he'll play. Javonte plays. We don't know how much he'll play. Singletary and Tracy are locked in, and they're 1-2 against the Raiders. How would you rank those three?
Wait, I'm sorry. With Davis, we're getting Javonte Williams playing. We just don't know how much. Okay. It's tough. I like you've caught me a little bit on Singletary just because it's the Raiders, but it's an offensive line, the Giants, that are potentially playing 3 backups this week.
Commanders defense is easy to attack too. And Davis has got some speed. Those are the kind of running backs that have given them problems.
Davis might be the most intriguing by far of those.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Davis.
Okay. We'll get back. I've got these running back notes. We'll get back to those.
At least that offense can move the ball.
And I'll recap these for you guys in terms of the order here for us. Okay, let's talk about wide receiver. If you have any questions about the running back position or running back ads, put those in the chat. We'll try to get to those. At wide receiver, I think Parker Washington is the top waiver wire player. I'm looking at my rankings right now. I've got a wide receiver 31 ahead of Wanda Robinson, ahead of Michael Pittman, Jordan Addison. I think he's at the top. How about like Adonai Mitchell? What's he? Yeah, he's still available in 56% of leagues, so you might be able to get 80 Mitchell. I know people were really excited about him. He was ranked really high for people this past week, but it was not a great game for the Jets, and I think that's basically what we can expect week to week. I've given wide receiver 38, so that's ahead of some, Rashid Shaheed. That's ahead of even Khalil Shakir. I feel a little bit safer with Shakir. Would you put your fantasy championship in the hands of AD Mitchell, Dan?
I think let's quantify that. We mean versus options like the ones you mentioned, Shakir, and the crap that we have to deal with in fantasy playoffs at our final flex spot. That's it for AD Mitchell. He's only in play potentially for final flex. And I think the volume's been there enough to the point where I would love to hear the Jets say we're going to see Tyrod Taylor out there. And then it's like, oh, yeah.
That would be great.
Or even Justin Fields, honestly. This Cook dude stinks.
Yeah.
I watched him because I watched the Shough. I mean, this guy's not an NFL quarterback. So, yeah, trust him to some extent as that final flex. Like, I like him better than some of these other players just because the volume is still there. They want to feature Mitchell to end the season. They want to prop him up as like a potential player they can move forward with the Jets. I think that's pretty clear.
Yep. Decent volume this past week, 23% first read target rate. A lot of those coming down the field. I actually think I'm going to move him down a little bit. I think I'm a little bit too high on him here. Okay, a couple other names here in this range. Josh Downs. They've gone really just like leaned in. I don't know if it'll be this way again, but they like really just leaned into the 3 receiver sets. You know what I'm saying here? Where like his route rate is much higher than it has been in the past when they're doing more under center stuff and play action and building it all around JT and getting bigger formations out there. It seems like with Rivers, it's just kind of quick game, more shotgun and more 3 receivers on the field. I checked and it was like in the first quarter, Downs was on, he ran a route on every single dropback in the first quarter. I think it was 15 dropbacks or something. So it wasn't just the blowout, you know. I think this was kind of the plan. I don't know if it'll be the same this next week, but we know Downs is a good player. He's been producing lately. He's available in 53% of leagues. I would, if you can grab Luther Burden, I would check and see if you can. He's kind of like some of these speculative running back ads where, like, if you can wait and see if he's in. What if he is in and Rome Odunze is out, you know? He's still available in a lot of leagues.
There's going to be a lot of potential
68.
plays based on the injuries.
68% of CBS leagues, you can find Luther Burden on the waiver wire.
Yeah. And if he's back, that's a potential play.
Kendrick Bourne did get the role. He was one of the he was basically the only pass catcher who didn't score a touchdown last night for the 49ers, but he got the role. He ran, I think, like double the routes that Demarcus Robinson did. So there's definitely a big play potential for Bourne in a potential shootout against the Bears. I think he's pretty interesting. Like, I think I would actually prefer Bourne to AD Mitchell. I mean, Mitchell's going against New England cornerbacks that have been pretty tough.
Yeah, true.
I think I'm too high on Mitchell. I think I'm moving him down.
Yeah, Mitchell with Gonzalez there. That's probably not a good play.
I think I'd rather go with Bourne. I think I'd rather go with Josh Downs, too. Downs gets the Jaguars. That game could be high scoring game.
Like, if they're sticking with Rivers, I'm good with Downs. If they're going to Leonard because they're eliminated or whatever, I don't really want Downs.
Yeah, for sure. The Downs thing is entirely predicated on Rivers. They got eliminated. They got eliminated last night.
I don't know if they got eliminated. I have to look that up.
Okay.
I thought I saw that. Are the Colts eliminated from playoff? I'm just curious about that. It is crazy that in the year 2025 we're saying, like, we want Rivers there. No, so they haven't been officially eliminated, but they're basically gone. But that's just a formality. It says, yeah, they're essentially out.
Okay. I do think Shaheed is an okay option. He's available in 48% of leagues, Rashid Shaheed, but I do think that's going to be kind of a gross, like, run-heavy game. So I'm not super excited about the passing game options. Darius Slayton, we mentioned pretty much every week. Maybe it's a better pass game environment here. Maybe they do want to, like, get a feel-good game in for Dart to end the season or whatever, but I don't know. I kind of just
know Andrew Thomas left tackle, potentially
right.
Like, they have major O-line issues now.
Yeah, I just want to avoid them. And I think the Thomas thing directly hurts him and, like, the downfield targets.
Yes.
I think Mac Hollins is a better play than him. I think if Booty is out, if Keyshawn Booty's out, I think Jalen Coker's probably a better play than him. But again, I kind of want to avoid that Carolina-Seattle game. Chimere Dike made some plays. I think he's a pretty freaking good player. This is Tennessee Titans rookie. Up next is the Saints, so he's somebody you could go to. Malik Washington for the Dolphins continues to get more and more involved. They get the Bucks in what could be a high-scoring game. Pretty easy secondary to pick on. Trey Harris in deep leagues. Anybody stand out to you from these names that you're like, eliminate Zacchaeus if the Bears receivers are out against the Niners? What are you looking for this week? I mean, you're focused on the good game environments. This seems like is normally your priority. So, like,
that is my priority.
Ancillary pieces like Malik Washington. We prefer Jalen Coker from a talent perspective, but would you go to somebody like Washington against Tampa Bay? Would you go to somebody like Zacchaeus against San Francisco over Coker? You know what I'm saying? Like, over
I mean, these are horrible spots to be in, honestly, to have to be playing these players. I hope that you're not in these spots. But if
Devontae Adams looking like he's out for another week, can we trust Marvin Harrison Jr.? DK Metcalf is out. You know,
there's
like,
a lot of injuries.
Rashee Rice going to play. Rome Odunze going to play. Luther Burden going to play. Is Romeo Doubs going to play?
Might be in these spots. You're right, because of these injuries. It is insane that the amount of injuries across the board. I think Washington probably stood out the most for me if I have to do some of these, like, Hail Mary type plays just because of the environment.
I mean, you just basically can't use, like, Xavier Worthy. The Chiefs receivers are just done. Like, I don't know. It's pretty bad.
It's bad. I do have a couple spots where I'm gonna have to look into stuff like this, get a little creative. Can't just put Michael Carter in again now that we have Kiner in there.
The Carter stuff might be fine. That wouldn't surprise me.
I don't think so.
I think he's probably a better flex than most of these receivers we just talked about, though.
maybe. I mean, if Kiner's taking snaps, like I don't know what his worth is anymore, Michael Carter.
You're going to play him over Malik Washington, right?
I guess, yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's similar type of players where like there's some speed, but they rarely get big plays, you know? And so it's really just about like PPR, just getting touches. And I feel like Carter, you've got such a good chance of getting like 10 to 15 touches, where Malik Washington, you're probably getting 5.
Right. Yeah. It's a Hail Mary. You got to go with Carter.
Okay. I think Kendrick Bourne to me is one of the best options here, and he's available.
That's intriguing.
In a lot of leagues still. Bourne is available in 78% of CBS leagues. Mac Hollins is another one who's available in 80% of leagues. So if you're looking for players who are widely available, those are the guys. Malik Washington's available in 87% of leagues. Alrighty, let's see if we can find anything at tight end. Do you see anything in the chat?
No, just someone said Kendrick Bourne. What is this, 16-team league? I get it. Look, we're getting deep here. It's down to the barrel here for some of these flex spots that you guys are in due to the injuries. I'm not feeling good about Bourne either personally, but I mean, I didn't really feel good about any one of those back end guys. Bourne was probably the best just because of the role.
Yeah, I mean, like if you are in a league where you start 3 receivers and you lost Devontae Adams and your 4th receiver is freaking Deebo Samuel or whatever, like I'd probably just rather play Kendrick Bourne, you know?
I know.
And Deebo gets the Cowboys, but it's like, what are we going to get at QB in Washington?
Is it Josh Johnson again?
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, or if your receiver forward is like Alec Pierce or something, and we don't know what we're going to get. Okay. Tight end.
There's also some games this week. I think like the Eagles have like nothing to really play for this week, so I don't know what we're going to get at them. There's some tricky games like that too.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat says, are we trusting Gadsden this week? No, we are not trusting Gadsden ever again.
Sadly, no. Trust is not a word that we can use with Gadsden. I still think
he have too many weapons.
I still think, he could have a random touchdown or game where he.
I don't understand how they accrued all these weapons. They have such an insane slew of talent, like Gadsden, Johnston, and Harris. Like such an insane slew of like young talent. It's crazy.
They've invested.
Yeah.
QJ round 1, Trey Harris round 2. They've invested for sure. I mean, Gadsden was a late hit, but a lot of these guys they paid for. Lab McConkey, top of round 2. Okay, a tight end, Brenton Strange, to me, stands out as the best option who might be available. He's available in 42% of leagues. Feel pretty good about the Jaguars and what they've got going there. Dude, Terrence Ferguson, man. I know it seems like I'm just beating a dead horse here, but we finally saw it come and like give us actual points. Like he got in the end zone. There have been several close plays, I feel like, over the past few weeks. He ran the same number of routes as Colby Parkinson. And to my eyes, he's a much, much better receiver than Colby Parkinson. He led the team in routes the week prior. So like it's a real thing. It's not like a ton of targets and it hasn't been a ton of points, but like he's a really talented player who can take the top off of defenses. He can make big plays. Like he could have a 60-yard touchdown this week. That wouldn't surprise me at all. He can get end zone targets like we saw. They're playing against Atlanta. Like I think Terrence Ferguson is a decent option if you have to go there. I've got him ranked as tight end 20. I've got Parkinson at tight end 17 just because I think you're a little bit safer there. And he's probably more likely to get prioritized in the end zone. I think you could start Ferguson over Gadsden, over Kelsey, if you want, over Theo Johnson, over Dalton Kincaid. Like if you're just not feeling it with those guys, I think you could go here with Terrence Ferguson in a good game environment against the Falcons.
That's fair. I can see it.
That's pretty much like, as I'm looking at my rankings, that's the highest guy who's going to be available.
Like of this week's Colby Parkinson type play. Yeah, that's fine. If you're in a tough spot at tight end, I can get behind it to some extent. If you have Gadsden or whatever starting there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why anyone would not be into it. Like this is just my brain, but like, it's like, we're talking about like a 70% route right for the Rams, you know, like, and a talented young player. Like I feel like he could have had another touchdown this past game. I think it was a holding call that back of the end zone target that he had.
Mhm.
He's a stud, man.
Yeah. Can get behind it.
That's pretty much all I've got at tight end. So good luck. Ride or
Yeah.
die with T Ferg. What could go wrong? And QB. Who we streaming this week? Shough. It's like pretty easily Tyler Shough. Yeah, it's not even a question. I've got him ranked as like a top 12 quarterback this week.
Wow.
I know. Yeah, QB 12. So we'll get into this on the next show for sure. But he's got the Titans here. It's been a pass funnel. We saw the Saints be willing to go super pass heavy. I feel pretty good about Shough this week, and he's among waiver wire guys. He's clearly the top option. Like I've got him ahead of Jackson Dart. Does that feel right to you?
Yeah, definitely. Even with the matchup being pretty good for Dart, it still feels right.
It's good for Shough. It's probably better for Shough.
Yeah.
You could go to Kirk Cousins again. It's against the Rams. That scares me a little bit with the pressure. Geno Smith gets the Giants. If Phillip Rivers plays, I feel like this could be a good game for him against the Jaguars. Similar to the game we just had, it's not quite as good of a matchup, but just like a lot of volume in a controlled weather environment. Potential back and forth type of game. I think you could go to like Malik Willis, like I'm looking at the bottom range and it's like I've got Cam Ward behind Geno Smith. Cam Ward gets the Saints, and then Quinn Ewers, and then Malik Willis, and then Bryce Young, and then Tyler Huntley, and then Shedeur Sanders. How's that feel to you? Like Quinn Ewers, I don't really want this high, but he gets the Bucks. Malik Willis faces the Ravens on Saturday. Bryce Young against the Seahawks. I want no part of that. Anybody stand out as a potential dart throw for you from these bottom of the barrel guys?
Willis, for sure. Just because there's upside there, just with his ability to run, with playing for Matt LaFleur. I've liked what I've seen from him every time he's had his chance with the Packers, so he would stand out for sure. Yeah, and I think, but May just threw for 380 against that Ravens defense.
They are very different.
Yeah.
he only attempted 11 passes against Chicago, which maybe that was weather, but I also think that's just I don't think they want to throw very much with him.
Yeah. It's fair.
All right. Good stuff. Let's check the chat one more time before we sign out, and I'm going to
we'll be back, by the way, at 1. So
yes, sir. I'm going to recap
those who really want to be the true sickos of the Beyond the Box Score crew.
You got to check out this next episode, man. Start, sit. It's important stuff here. Let me mess up your lineup for you and tell you to sit Matthew Stafford. Okay, at running back, top pickups this week. Emmanuel Wilson, if you get to Emmanuel Wilson, is a decent play, even if Jacobs is in. And Jacobs is out, then, I mean, dude, how many? Emmanuel Wilson in the game that Jacobs missed earlier this year got like almost 30 touches.
Yeah.
They play the Ravens Saturday night. In Green Bay. Feels like a game where they could lean on the running backs a lot. He did get 30 touches in week 12 against Minnesota. So we know that they can load this guy up. If Jacobs is out, I think Wilson is like a top 12 running back. I think Jacobs is Wilson is like as good of a start as Harvey and Kyron Williams and Henry, and like better than Bucky Irving and stuff like that. If Josh Jacobs is out. So if you can get that on the waiver wire, that could definitely swing your matchup. And like Dan said, even if Jacobs plays, I think the Wilson's not the worst start you can make. Michael Carter would be next. Don't feel great about it. I would rather start Kyle Monangai. I would rather start Chris Rodriguez. I didn't mention him because I think he's rostered in more leagues, but I would go C-Rod over Carter. I'd rather start Tony Pollard, I don't feel great about the Michael Carter spot here. I'm a little bit worried about the usage, but there's upside for a lot more. He showed a little bit of juice. We know he can rip off some, 15, some 20-yard plays and stuff like that. And this defense is susceptible to that type of a thing, Cincinnati. So he's an okay start. For me, Isaiah Pacheco would be next. I totally get it, why you would not want to go there. But for PPR formats, I think he's one of your safest bets to get 8 to 10 points, and he could get more if you get lucky. It's not a good start. It's just not. I've got him at running back 34. The upside plays are Rocket Sanders, Raheem Sanders, available in every league. If not Jerome Ford, if Dylan Sampson does not play, then it's like I think you could get 15 to 20 touches from Rocket Sanders. And he has some explosive playability. Like there's very few running backs I think that are available off the waiver wire who could maybe give you 20 touches this week, and he's one of them. Beyond that, I think Sampson is really interesting for Cleveland if he does get in, and I'll side off on Xavier Scott for Minnesota if he's the lead back. I think those are interesting speculative ads. And then the bottom of the barrel guys, hopefully you don't have to go there. These are Pacheco type of plays in deep leagues are Jawar Jordan for Houston, Audric Esme for the Saints, Malik Davis for the Cowboys, and Devin Singletary for the Giants.
Yeah. I think you covered them all.
Is waiver wire the least favorite part of Beyond the Box Score, Dan? I feel like every time we get to waiver wire, it's just so dead.
It's been a bad year for waiver. I think that's part of the problem. It's been an ugly stretch of the wire. Like we're talking about names that I'm just hoping people don't have to play for their fantasy championship games, but they might have to. I wish I could find more excitement for some of these players. Jacob made some stronger cases than I could make for these.
It's
guys.
Rocket Sanders week, baby. How are we not excited?
Like if Dylan Sampson was out, I could get excited, but he's not. I feel like every waiver option we've gone over has some qualification as to what makes me scared to play that player. But that's where we're at right now in the fantasy championship. And I think you laid out a good case for some of these guys for really in desperate spots.
I actually love getting into the nitty gritty of this. I play in a lot of like deep leagues where it's a best ball format,
Right.
And so you make moves during the year, but then whoever gets in. Whoever your best players are end up in your lineup. And so I love that I can like make savvy moves like adding Jawar Jordan or whatever. And then like I look at my lineup and I won by 5 points, and it's because I got somebody like that into the lineup,
Yeah, right.
Just maximizing the bottom of the bench.
The smallest edge you can get.
Yeah.
I like it. I do like it. It's the grind. It's the grind of fantasy football, those best ball leagues where you're just grinding out 8 versus 5 points. But
I think I love best ball, man. I hope it continues to become more like best ball managed leagues. I hope continues to become more prevalent because I do like managing the leagues. It's just I'm particularly burned on the lineup setting thing because I made so many stupid decisions this past week that cost me. But also like I just if you like to play in a lot of leagues and be able to get different types of fantasy action and different exposure to a lot of players that you like and think are good plays and everything, you want to play with a lot of different people. It's hard to set all the lineups, it really is not easy. Like,
right.
And maybe I'm soft here, and that's part of fantasy is like doing the weekly lineup tilting or whatever. And I can appreciate that, but I do really like these formats too. I
also prefer best ball as well, personally. Yeah, but that's fantasy. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to Beyond the Box Score.
Real quick part, I want to ask you, if you're looking at like a good pickup, if you are in a shallower league and like Parker Washington, Chris Rodriguez.
Oh, okay.
Who do you think is like, let's give a flex ranking. Like if you're just one spot and you've got Parker Washington, Josh Downs, Kendrick Bourne, and Emmanuel Wilson, Michael Carter, and Chris Rodriguez, how would you rank that group?
Wilson, if Jacobs is out, 1.
Let's say half PPR.
Yeah, if Jacobs out, Wilson 1 for sure. I think the clear tier for me of just interest is Wilson, Parker Washington, and Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And just a total drop off.
Big drop off after C-Rod to Carter.
Whatever was left,
Bourne and Downs.
Carter I'm scared of because of the Kiner stuff.
Okay. I think that's about right. I think the most upside is Wilson if you get lucky and Jacob sits. I think Chris Rodriguez, it's weird to say upside because he doesn't get any receptions and he hasn't broken off a ton of long runs, but I really feel like this could be a game where Dallas's defense is kind of over it,
Right.
and
Both teams are over it in this game.
Washington is just like, give it to C-Rod. He's not over it.
Sometimes
He's
that
out.
leads to like broken plays, bad tackling, just
Right.
stupid
That's
stuff.
what it looked like, man. The tackling was weird in this
Yeah.
game against
No
Amari
pun
Hampton this
intended,
past
killed them.
week. And so I feel like, you could get a game where Rodriguez just rumbles for like 100.
Mhm.
You get random stuff like this at the end of the year sometimes where
You
it's
do
like,
get random. We're gonna get a random breakout or two.
like 80% of the players in Dallas are kind of, phoned it in, and like he has not. He is trying to put something on film here, and he goes for
Yeah.
like 160 or something.
I like it.
I like C-Rod a lot if you can get your hands on him. I think there's a lot more upside with him than Carter. And then I really do think Kendrick Bourne gives you a lot of upside, but it's
big on Bourne.
you're a lot more likely to run into a 3-point game with him than Josh Downs or Carter or Rodriguez or Parker Washington. Those guys are all probably safer.
Barely. Yeah, I guess so. I guess they're safer, but yeah, that's how I'd rank them. Anyone else that comes to your mind that we missed?
Nope. We'll see you guys at
Right.
at 1 for the second show today. Merry Christmas.
Again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays as well, and please hit the like button right now if you haven't already. Please hover your hand over that mouse and click the like button for us. Subscribe on iTunes and Spotify. We need your support there. We need to get more reviews up there. Please leave us a review. Support the show in any way you can. That helps us grow. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. But we will talk to you today again in less than an hour.